If you'd like to jam a simple song that captures the bluesier and grittier side of the outlaw country sound, then this video can show you how. And it's perfect for newer players or anyone who doesn't want to have to memorize a zillion chord changes or play tough bar chords. In fact, this song is dirt simple, but it's fun to play. So grab your guitar and let's dive into this Waymore Blues guitar lesson. Now this song was originally written by Waylon Jennings and Curtis Buck, and it was first recorded for Waylon's album Dream in My Dreams in 1974. You'll only need 2 chords to play it. It's in the key of D. The first chord is D, which we can just play from the 4th string down, open, 2, 3, 2. And then a G7, which can be played using all 6 strings, 3, 2, open, 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 1. Now it sounds like G7 on the recording, which is a bluesier chord for the 4 chord. The song's in the key of D, so in the key of D, D, E, F sharp, G, the 4 chord would be G, but it's not usually a 7th. But if you make it a 7th, you get that bluesy sound, like that kind of sound, and then D. Now you could play G like this, that'll work as well, but those are the 2 chords that I'm going to be using. Now the strumming is really straightforward. We're going to do just a primarily 8th note driven 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and count, but I like to start off with 2 quarter notes and then play the rest 8th notes. So that would go like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. So down, then my hand comes up, I don't play the strings, down, hand comes up, I don't play the strings, and then I play down, up for 4 strums there. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's just a real driving, like 1, 2, 3, and 4 and ba, 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 ba. Now the song follows a structure similar to like a 12-bar blues, but it's a little longer and there's a couple twists in there. So let me break it down. We're gonna start out with 8 bars of that D. So it's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now, in the 9th bar, we're gonna play just 2 strums. So this is gonna be a 2-4 measure. We're gonna go 1, 2, and then go to G, okay? So the song is in a 4-4 count, like 1, 2, 3, 4, but when we get to that 1 bar in the song, there's just 1, 2, and then you skip to the next chord and you start back the count at 1 again. So let me demonstrate that. It's gonna go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 2, 3, 4, counting bars, 5, 6, 7, 8, here we go. 1, 2, switch. So if you can do that by counting the bar downbeat, just 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 2, 2, 3, and 4, and 3, 2, da 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 ba 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 ba, and then you listen to the melody. I don't have to work, right? You'll hear in the melody when you change to the next chord. Hopefully, right? If you get lost, then count it out. Counting it out is how you can for sure get it, if you just count the beats and then listen to the melody and hear how the chords change with the melody. So once you land on that G7, then you have 4 bars of G7. If you've struggled to be able to hear when the chords change, or even just figure out the chords and notes in your favorite songs without tabs, sheet music, or even having to watch a lesson, then go to johnmclennan.com/goldenear and grab my free ear training cheat sheet. Ear training is what's enabled me to be able to pick up notes and chords off my favorite recordings and also be able to put up thousands of song lessons on the internet. I do it with my ear. I don't look at tabs and things like that. So I want to show you some secrets. Go to johnmclennan.com/goldenear and grab my free ear training cheat sheet now. So after that, you go to the G7 and you have 4 bars on G7. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, and And then you go back to D for 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the form for the entire song. You just play that progression over and over. So let me play it one time all together, and I'm going to count these just to recap. We've got 8 bars, then the little 2-beat measure, then we go to G7 for 4, then back to D for 4. Very similar to a blues progression. Get set, and I'll count you in. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, G, 2, 3, 4. Back to D. 2, 3, 4. Okay, now the very first time he plays a little extension here at the end. He goes D. Plays 4 extra bars. And then, you know, once the melody comes back in, then you always start back at the top of the form. So musicians will do this, like Johnny Cash would do this all the time, and anybody you're playing with live, sometimes the artist will kind of take their time, they'll walk out on stage, and the band, they're just sitting there holding down the chord, holding down the rhythm, and then once they sing the melody, then that's when you know you're back at the top of the form. So it's like musically cued, but again, you got to be able to hear it. So pay attention, listen for those things. I want to show you a couple variations next. Now, the strumming pattern, as I said, was just 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the basic groove, though, is just my hands going back and forth. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and you can also do a pattern like this where you do all 8th notes, but you don't play on beat 3. So you go 1 and 2 and then on beat 3 you just play air and then come back up and 4 and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and pop 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 pop. Now you can mix that in. You could go like 1, 2, 3 and 4 and pop 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 pop. And these are more feel things. So once you get the basic idea, then you can kind of just groove on it and keep the underlying 8th notes going and change the chords in the right places, and you'll be golden. Now, one last tip I want to give you. There is a version that I saw on YouTube with Waylon Jennings playing this, and he uses a capo on the 5th fret, which is another way. I've seen him play it without a capo live and with a capo. In that version, he is actually drop D, and he plays a capo at the 5th fret, and he plays the chords A to D. So it'd be A to D just way up here, capoed at 5, or, you know, D to G7 down here. So that's how to play Waymore's Blues. Again, a huge part of this is being able to hear when the chords change, listening for the melodies, these key points that I'm pointing out as we go through. So if you struggled with this, then go to johnmclennan.com/golden-ear and grab my free ear training cheat sheet. This is going to help you be able to start tuning up your ear to hear these nuances in music. And it's really one of the most valuable assets you can have in music is a strong ear. So go to johnmclennan.com/golden-ear and grab that now as my gift to you. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like this one, you might like this one next.